Shalom, family. It's good to see you again. So, we're going to go over exactly what happened when we found out Derek Chauvin was stabbed in prison. And, they said this particular inmate, which they have not shown yet, they got a bunch of different people out there with the caption, Derek Chauvin, inmate stabs Derek Chauvin. And I think they did that to cause confusion. And the fact that anytime they want to cause confusion, you can best believe whoever did it was not a brother. This is somebody that looks just like Derek Chauvin. That's why they're trying to cover it. That's one thing I know about the media in this country. They play a lot of a lot of deception in how they deliver the news. And plus it's the embodiment of racism. That's all mainstream news is. So I'm just going to go on the information that I have until we find out the face of the inmate. Then I'll do a follow up on that. So, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, well, they're reluctant to show him, and that says it all. Plus, he does not have a Spanish last name at all. In fact, his whole name does not sound like a Mexican name, or a name that you would normally hear on a Mexican. His name is not like that at all. So let's get to it. Let me go ahead and share my screen and we will get started. Let's see here. I have that. I think I do. Hold on one second. Yeah, I do. All right. Okay. So, y'all, by now, I think the whole world knows what happened to Derek Chauvin. And it is no secret that he has been stabbed. This happened this past Friday. And the inmate that did it was serving a 30-year sentence. And they said, the month before, he was talking about doing something to Derek Chauvin. But he has since denied it, and this inmate has been charged with attempted murder on Derek Chauvin. So he was able to stab him 22 times with an improvised knife, which means this was a knife that he made himself. All right. And, like I said, the information is very limited right now, but I'm sure they're going to come out with a lot more probably in the next week or coming weeks. All right, so let's get into it. Inmate stabbed Derek Chauvin 22 times, charged with attempted murder, prosecutor said. Now, y'all, it is not unusual for a corrections officer to look the other way, especially if it's an inmate they don't like. And Derek Chauvin was supposed to be monitored around the clock, and he wasn't. So apparently he went into a law library up there at the prison. And that's where the attack happened. So an incarcerated former gang member and FBI informant was charged Friday with attempted murder in the stabbing last week of ex-police officer Derek Chauvin at a federal prison in Arizona. Now, wasn't that the whole point, to put him there? And remember, when he was in state prison, he wanted to be moved. And what I think it was, he was running into a lot of people he put behind bars when he was still on the police force, and it made him very uncomfortable. So then he was moved to federal prison out in Arizona. So they named the inmate as John Turskak. Now, that's not a Mexican name, you know. He stabbed Chauvin 22 times in Federal Correctional Institute in Tucson and said he would have killed Chauvin had correctional officers not responded so quickly, prosecutors said. Turskak, serving a 30-year sentence for crimes committed while a member of the Mexican mafia gang, told investigators he thought about attacking Chauvin for about a month because the former officer convicted of murdering George Floyd is a high-profile inmate. So I think he did it to get some notoriety. That's what it sounds like. Turskak later denied wanting to kill Chauvin, prosecutors said. Turskak is accused of attacking Chauvin with an improvised knife in the prison law library at 2:30 p.m. on November 24th. So this was the day after Thanksgiving. The Bureau of Prisons said employees stopped the attack and performed life-saving measures. Now you know why they had to do life-saving measures. That's why I said it had to be more serious, because when the news first broke, they didn't want to tell you how many times he was stabbed. All they said was life-saving measures. Now, 22 stabs, I can imagine the amount of blood that must have been everywhere. So Chauvin was taken to the hospital for treatment. Turskak told FBI agents interviewing him after the assault that he attacked Chauvin on Black Friday as a symbolic connection to the Black Lives Matter movement, which garnered widespread support in wake of Floyd's death, and the black hand symbol associated with the Mexican mafia, prosecutors said. So this inmate is 52 years old and is also charged with assault with the intent to commit murder, assault with a dangerous weapon, and assault resulting in serious bodily injury. The attempted murder and assault with an intent to commit murder charges each carry up to a 20-year prison sentence. The lawyer for the inmate was not listed in court records. Turskak has represented himself from prison in numerous court matters. After the stabbing, he was moved to an adjacent federal penitentiary in Tucson, where he remained in custody on Friday, inmate records said. So they moved him somewhere else, which means Derek Chauvin more than likely will be coming back to that facility. He ain't going home, y'all. You know, there are prisoners that are jumped, beat up, and nearly killed all the time in prisons around this country, and they are not let go. They're not going to let Derek Chauvin go. They'll just put him somewhere else. So Chauvin, 47, was sent to FCI Tucson from a maximum security Minnesota state prison in August of 2022 to simultaneously serve a 21-year federal sentence for violating George Floyd's civil rights and a 22.5-year sentence for the second-degree murder. Chauvin's lawyer, Eric Nelson, had advocated for keeping him out of Gen Pop and away from other inmates, anticipating he'd be a target. You mean kind of like he targeted George Floyd? Oh, you don't want that same thing to happen to him, right? I see. So anyway, in Minnesota, Chauvin was mainly kept in solitary confinement, largely for his own protection. Nelson wrote in court papers last year. Floyd, who was black, died on May 25th, 2020, after Chauvin, who is white, pressed his knee on his neck for 9.5 minutes on the street outside of a convenience store where Floyd was suspected of trying to pass a counterfeit $20 bill. And you notice that $20 bill never came back up again. The whole time Derek Chauvin was on trial, it never came up. When the three officers that aided and abetted him went on trial, the $20 bill never came up. It was not even mentioned. Bystanders video captured Floyd fading cries of "I can't breathe." So his death touched off widespread, really worldwide protests, some of which turned violent and forced a nation reckoning with police brutality and racism. And isn't that ironic? Yeah, it was a time of reckoning, but the racism within police forces still continue on to this very day. So it didn't change that at all. So ladies and gentlemen, from what I heard, he is still hospitalized. I mean, stabbed 22 times. I can imagine he is still in the hospital, but that's according to reports. He's not out yet. So what they'll probably do is put him in a more isolated part of the prison where other inmates can't get to him. But the bottom line is Derek Chauvin can be touched. So it's already been proven he can be touched. And we don't really know what happened. I mean, those correction officers could have turned away on purpose. They have been known for doing stuff like that before, where they'll look away and then an attack will happen and then they wait minutes and then run in there all of a sudden. And a lot of that is done on purpose, especially if they got issues with an inmate. They'll let other inmates attack them. So that's not unusual at all. Mhm. So there's still all they say right now is he's in stable condition, you know, and expected to recover, but we don't hear anything else. So the everything is very limited. You don't hear about them interviewing him or anything, or if he said anything about the attack, nothing. Mhm. Oh, trust me, I'm with you on that, Gabriella. I don't feel nothing for him. I don't feel nothing for him, you know? And the thing is, how do you feel bad for somebody for what he did to George Floyd? It's amazing. His rights should be protected while this same person violated and killed someone over a $20 bill that, in my opinion, was more likely to be real, because if it was fake, like they claim, oh, they would have been riding the hell out of it. Oh, well, he passed a fake bill. Because these idiots, they think any reason is good enough to kill one of us. Oh, well, he shouldn't have stared hard at the cop. Anything that's stupid and remedial, they think that is justifiable reason to kill us. The most ridiculous things. And the fact that they stand there, that they say these things, to me, it just makes me see them in a more idiot light. They're in the idiot light, the way I see it. And the thing is, all the things that they try to make it seem like acceptable to kill us, they know damn well if people said the same thing when one of them died at the hands of the cop, they would have a meltdown over it. So they are hypocrites for real, you know? So Derek Chauvin, in my opinion, psychologically, he gonna be jacked up now. He's gonna be jacked up. Can you imagine going back to the jail that you were stabbed up in, or even any jail at that point? Because in the back of his mind, he's going to wonder if any other inmates are going to try to get at him. You know what I mean? Psychologically, trust me, this has taken a major toll on his psyche for real. And you can best believe if there was no fear in Derek Chauvin's heart, there is certainly fear in his heart now. There's no way it's not. So, yeah, he's going to be looking over his shoulder. What you're going to have when he finally do fully recover, if he's able to, you're going to have an extremely paranoid inmate. That's what he's going to be. He's going to be very paranoid from this point on. And it's going to be a long paranoia because he got those 22 and a half years ahead of him. That's a long time to be in fear of somebody getting to you. Know what I mean? So, y'all, oh, yeah, trust me, he deserves this and far worse as far as I'm concerned. He absolutely do. So, y'all, thank you so much for being here. And we'll definitely be doing this tomorrow. I got another live stream coming tomorrow. Fox News host said what the slave owners did, was great. Really? Yeah, he gave praise to slave owners. So we'll do that one tomorrow, and I hope you all can be there. And I also have a premiere coming up today, an update on Juliana, and what she said about our people not getting involved or having an opinion or siding with them. I have an update to that. She's calling herself apologizing for what she said. So please enjoy the rest of your day, and I guess I will see some of you later. Shalom, family.